Well, today we're going to do a little flavor profile testing on some ribs. You know, I might actually get to cook competition this year, so I just want to test the waters and see if I can come up with anything new. You never know when it might be the next Johnny Trigg recipe. So what I've got here, I just picked them up from my local food giant, is a couple whole spare ribs. I don't want to cook the whole thing, so we're going to cut them down and make us some St. Louis ribs out of them. So what we're going to do when you say St. Louis means we're going to remove this here skirt from it. And this is how we do it. Let's get them flipped over. And on this thing, you've got to, guess what we'll call it? It's the flap meat down here on the bottom. Pretty much useless. Get it off here. We'll throw it over the side. I'm sure some of you can make something out of it. Then you want to look for your long bone. It's usually around your fourth bone in there. You know what you want to do is take your knife and just make a straight cut. I think maybe parallel, is that the word I'm looking for? To the other side, so you can have a straight rack of ribs, which this one here is a little wonky jawed, but you understand what I'm saying. Set this over the side. We're going to stick it on the Weber in a little bit, do some more profile testing. Now, you want to push down on your ribs, and any meat that squeezes out the side, get rid of it. So we'll just call that the squishy meat. And we don't need the whole rack. Whoop, we got to get the squishy meat on this side too. And there's not much, maybe a little at the end. So now let's shorten this rib up. I like to go maybe 10, 11 bones. And that's it. Now you got trimmed up pretty much, unless you see any loose meat to get rid of. There's not much fat on the front to fool with. So now we've got to get off the membrane. So take you a spoon, a fork, a shovel, whatever you need to get your finger underneath that. I just like to use my finger and a paper towel. Pull it off. That's how simple it is. If you don't want to pull it off, don't pull it off. Just don't serve it to a judge. And there you have it. One St. Louis rib. For a recap, let's do this. Alrighty, flat meat, get rid of it. Long bone, cut parallel, perpendicular, linear, whatever that word. Squishy meat, get it out of here. Tail meat, too much of it. It's gone. And membrane. That's it. All we got to do now, get her seasoned up, get her ready for the smoker. And we're going to start out with MOJO beef. You say, well, you're not cooking beef. Well, beef is more than just beef. Beef's just a good rub. Good savory rub. So we're going to start out with a layer just of savoriness. So we're going to hit this backside. We want to cover the meat. Get both of them. Get your edges. Don't forget your edges. And then we're going to come back with a layer of MOJO barbecue. Why? Because we're cooking barbecue. And it's good. Once we get an even layer on both of these, we're just going to let it hang out for, let's say, 5-10 minutes. You know, let it kind of sweat in a little bit. We're going to flip her over and repeat the process. We're going to go with a layer of beef and a layer of barbecue. Now, I'm probably going to get a few comments about how you use a lot of rub. And yeah, I do. And you professionals out there may not like it. But I got a piece of metal over on the left hand of the screen that says, okay, I'm not going to even go there. Anyway, let's get her out on the smoker. Today, we're going to be cooking on the rusty old drum. I built this thing about 7 years ago. She's still going. Been through a lot of weather. We've got some Fogo charcoal on the bottom with a couple chunks of cherry. You can throw some pecan in there if you want. Alrighty, so we're going to get them laid out here. Remember, how you put them on the grill is how they're going to cook. So let's squish them up a little bit, make them a little fatter, get them straight. We're going to put the old rusty lid on there, and we're going to forget about these things for about 2 hours. So with 2 hours to kill, I'm just going to fix me a snack. I don't know if there's a reason why I'm showing y'all me cooking bacon and eating bacon, but bacon's good. After you cook your bacon, always save your fat, because it's good to cook shrimp in and anything else. All right, that's done. 2 hours is up. And here's what we got. I got a nice little bark forming here. It's holding all them juices on top. So what I forget to show you here, I did flip them over. And I'm going to let them go for another 30 minutes. or until they look like this. Looking pretty good, if I must say so myself. We're going to wrap. So, if I can figure out where I want to put these babies, we're going to start out with more rub. Imagine that. We're going to put a layer of barbecue down. Then, we're going to get us some country crock. Why country crock? Well, cooking at higher temperatures, which I'm cooking at 275, I forgot to tell you that, didn't I? Butter sometimes will burn. Oh, that's why I done the bacon. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of bacon on top of those 3 scoops of country crock. Then I picked this up at the local Walmarts, some Trees Knees Spicy Maple. This is why I'm doing this. I thought maple and bacon sounded good. And you need to get you some of this. This is some good stuff. I'm going to go back and see if I can buy a case or 2. Put you about, let's say, a 1/4 cup on that. We're going to lay down them ribs. And that's pretty much it. Play the piano man. Get her going. Let's wrap her up. Now, when you wrap ribs, wrap them good and tight. If you wrap them loose, I think you're going to have a little steaming action going. You're going to lose more bark than what you should. So, you can wrap it like I do or wrap it however. Just make sure it's tight. When I get that all folded up, we're going to set her to the side. And this is where I noticed, is that seepage? I believe it is seepage. We don't need seepage. And yep, that's what it is. So, put you another layer of foil on there. Because what good's wrapping all that goodness up in there if it's just going to leak out? For a recap again, we got MOJO. We've got vegetable fat. We've got bacon fat. And we've got tree fat. And that's it. Put your rib. Come on, Bubba. Put your rib down there. Man, them things are pretty. Wrap her up tight. Well, wrap her up tight. Man, these long videos, I just run out of stuff to say. All right, now, here we go. We're going to stick her back on the smoker for about an hour. 275, I'm going to remind you again. An hour later, we're going to check for tenderness. Now, there's a lot of ways you check for tenderness. You can check them while in the foil, and if they're all floppy like this, that's a pretty good sign. Then you can unwrap them, and if you'll see a little disintegration here around the bones, that means they're probably pretty much done. Then you can do the pokey test. Get you a toothpick or a thermopin, poke it, falls in like butter. You done. Or we can look at this here temperature. 207 is a good number. And there you have it. We want to wrap these things back up just as tight as we did in the beginning and stick them in the poor man's Cambro. You're going to rest the butt in the brisket. Why not rest your ribs? Just gives it time to soak up some of that awesomeness. Alrighty, after about 30 minutes to an hour, we're going to get these out. Now we're going to pour in that juice into a fat separator or a bowl, whatever you got on hand. Pull out some more rub. We're going to hit the back side. Then we're going to set them over here on well, first, I'm going to flop them and just show you again. I think they look good. That's why we use rub, guys. Alrighty, put it on this here wire rack. Then I'm going to do the next rack just to show you. Pour your juice out, hit it with some rub, flip her over, show the camera one. You only got one camera. Anyway, alrighty. Put that baby on there, and guess what we're going to do? I bet he hits it with some more rub. Dang, he uses a lot of rub. But that's okay. Support your local business. No, support your local. Anyway, buy a lot of rub. Stuff's good. Alrighty. So now we're going to put it back on the smoker for about 5-10 minutes until that rub kind of melts in. Then we're going to take that jus and just pour it over the top. Not the fat that's on top, just the nice juicy part. And let that set for about 5 minutes or until it tacks up. And this is what you got. Now for a rib that's not got any sauce on it, I think I done a pretty dang good job. If you don't like it, hey, still give me a thumbs up. That'd be nice of you. So all we got to do now, show you one more time how pretty it is. Give her a little flop just to show you how tender it is. And then we're going to flip her over and cut her because I'm not good at cutting on the top side. Just take you a long knife, slice her gently. Oop, I got a little excited there. Might have ripped it a little bit, but I like that rip. I can already tell I'm going to like these. Finish cutting them up, and I'll speed it up here so we can get to the tasting. I know y'all guys are ready to taste these things. Now once they're flipped over, there you have it. A pretty rack of ribs and some delicious fingers. Alrighty, let me find the one I want. That's not it. That's not thick enough. Let's go for a thicker one here. And here we go. Does it look good? I think it does. Look, it's got a smoke ring. Got some moisture in there. Got a little color on top. So all that's left now, let's see if this thing will bite clean. Or will it just fall off the bone? And he takes a bite. Well, it's still on the bone. And man, okay, you'll see. I'm just going to sit here and eat. And I want to tell y'all, this rib's pretty awesome. Got a little sweet from the MOJO barbecue and the maple. You can pick up that heat from that habanero that was in that maple. And honestly, you can taste a little bit of that bacon fat. I mean, this is everything a man needs. Just a bunch of fat and a rib. What I'm saying, or what I can say here, if you want to cook these for competition, finish these things off with one of your favorite sauces, kind of like Killer Hogs or Yes Dear, and you got yourself a winner. I'm out, guys.